What is going on? Welcome back to another episode of Innovation by the Cup, where we're serving up innovation one cup at a time. Here with Cap this week, we're talking about those topics that you need to know as a spark cell to kind of help you get along, right? What are those things that can help you build your spark cell? What is the foundational knowledge you need to know? All of those sort of things. So I'm going to kick it over to Cap right quick and have him start. What do you think, Cap? What is it that we need to know to start out?
So best practices, right? We want everybody, I kind of like to call it raising the ambient noise level. You're not going to be us at the end of the day, and I don't want you to be. I want you to build things that you want to see fit, but give you enough so you can start ahead of where we were. Things that I like to cover are training tools that are out there, current ecosystems to plug into on your base probably, understanding the mindset of it all, right? Which my favorite thing is design thinking, and I think that's very important. Another aspect is staying agile and finding out what processes are there and how you can adapt them. Understanding cycles of things that happen on your base. We're a government entity. Like, we are very rigid in our structure. You kind of have to understand those. And then, just some stuff to better yourself. Everybody is going to go through this a little bit differently. And there's some reading material and books that have really helped me, I'm going to say it, really helped me pull my own head out of my own ass and kind of bring it forth and lose that chip of I'm trying to prove myself and prove that I'm right, as opposed to this is a collective of we. We're doing this together. We're out here on a Saturday, sipping a cup of Joe and doing it together. We'll cover some of that stuff and see if we screw up and miss some things.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we're always going to miss something because there's always ever evolving, right? That's how it works. We always have to learn. If you're not learning, you're not growing. That's the big thing.
If you feel like you're under control, you're not moving fast enough.
Nope, you're not, right? Some of the things that I found important is mind mapping. I have taken and done mind mapping with some teams and come up with some phenomenal ideas that we would have never gotten to before. And it's a really simple task to go through. There's a lot of books on it, a lot of videos, YouTube videos on it, and it's really easy to do, to go through and get a good mind mapping session and kind of categorize things, bring it down, kind of scope it, and get some really good things out of that. Some other things that I think that you need to study.
Right? Can you explain mind mapping? Like, a guy like me, I don't read good. So what is mind mapping?
Mind mapping. Well, it's pretty easy, right? So it's basically, to sum it down into its lowest form. You can get into a lot more complex stuff of it, but it's where you get a group of folks in a room and you come up with a lot of ideas, right? So you put them on, say, one per sticky note. It's a good tactic for it. And you put one idea on. Yep, there you go. One idea per sticky note, and you just write it down as fast as you can, right? And the whole thing is, there's a different way to look at it than brainstorming, because brainstorming, everybody kind of puts things on the board and everybody feeds off of each other. That can lead to groupthink, which is bad. So you're looking for quantity of ideas. So quantity always leads to quality, right? Always, right? So if you have a lot of quantity, you're going to get that quality. So that's what you're shooting for. So one of the methods I use is I take a 2 or 3 minute time limit and I have the group of folks just write down a bunch of ideas as fast as they can, and one idea per sticky note. And then you put it all on the floor or on the table. And then after that, you start to group them. So you find those like ideas, and this is where everybody can work as a team, and you find those categories that may have come together, right? So a good example of this is like, how do you prevent a lost golf ball? Right. So that's a good thing. You can do a lot of different things. There can be different areas. Say you can make the golf ball glow in the dark. You can tie a string to the golf ball. You can take lessons, right?
You could not use golf balls.
You can not use golf balls. You can put nets up on the side of the course, right? You can get rid of water hazards. There's all different things you can do. But if you look at what we just did, you can break those down into categories. So one instance, we're changing the golf ball. Another one, we're changing ourselves. Another one, we're changing the course. And so that kind of categorizes those things. And then you can look at what you can affect and those good ways that you can go after something. And you can find that, and then it kind of focuses your efforts. And you'll discover things that you weren't discovering before. So
mind mapping.
That's mind mapping, right? On a very basic scale. So again, innovation by the cup, small chunks, right? So encourage you to look into that. It's very valuable. The other thing I would think that you need to look into is understanding how budgeting works, understanding funding, the colors of money, the budgeting cycle, how your comptroller moves money around, how the
Color.
airforce money, where it comes in, palming. Those type of things are important for a new Spark cell or even an existing Spark cell, because that's where you're going to need to have, you're going to find the backing for your projects. So I would encourage you to get with your comptroller and learn more about that.
I can attest to the fact that I've never interacted with a comptroller for when I took an interest in their career. Not walking in the door and saying this is done wrong, we need to do this way, but legitimately taking an interest in to make their lives easier. Lead with empathy, right?
Oh, yeah.
They've always been open to educating me, and so I can be a force multiplier and educate others. And I say it's been a pleasant experience over the last couple of bases.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've had very good working relationships with our comptrollers, and I tell you, just learning a lot of that stuff helps them just because you know it, and they don't have to, reinvent the wheel every time you submit something up or something like that. Another one I would say that probably be beneficial is contracting. There's a lot of contracting vehicles out there, from CSOs to Form 9s to just, there's so much stuff in that contracting world. And I encourage you to get with your contracting folks as well, because those are the ones that can help you get the large scale projects moving, right? Your finance folks and your GPC folks can get those smaller type things going. It's
Quick
another
kills.
is GPC, right? Understand those limits. But your contracting folks are going to help you through that, and they can help you, advise you on how you need to write those requirements documents for your needs and things like that.
And
So,
remember, for contracting, it's always not why is it not that it's no, it's why is it yes for them but no for us. So always explore those avenues. That's something from Garrett from last week. He always left us with. And if you need people to fight for you to find out why it's no for us but yes for them, we got you. Come talk to us.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's bases out there that have already got stuff on contract that you can look at and see how it's done, right? If there's something you got, there's probably someone similar out there, especially in the small network. So if you reach out to other people in the network and get with some of us, we're happy to share everything we got. That's the cool thing about this network. People want to share. We want to help make it better.
It's not us versus them. It's team
Yes.
teams. System of we. We're out here to bring everybody in. I want you to be better. I want you to be better than I was when I started.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why we want to do this. That's why we're doing this innovation by the cup, right? Because we have been here and we have struggled through some things, and we want to make it easier for everybody else.
Struggle is definitely a loosely used term. I think I've crawled and cried and been like I should just quit.
Yeah. Oh, there's been times where it's been rough, man, where we got it just seems like you run into a wall. But I tell you, there hasn't been a wall that I haven't been able to find a way around or go through or break it down, because that gets into the agility of this program and how you do it. Cap, what do you know about communicating about your ideas?
Ooh, so I would say, as a maintainer, this is definitely something that was the most difficult for me. You always have to prove that you're right. You always have to prove that you're knowledgeable on what you're doing. But in the innovation space, that could be one of the biggest detriments. You don't ever want to walk into a situation and try and prove to the people in front of you how your answer, your solution is so good and so grand. Why would you not do this? Me on the receiving end, I'm going to feel offended. You don't know the work I go through to make the system operate. Genuinely, when you walk into a comptroller and they don't want to give you money and you're telling them that their processes are bad, as opposed to you walking in and just trying to learn more before you try and explore other avenues. I call this, again, we mentioned before, it's proving yourself right to people for them to follow you, as opposed to leading with empathy and trying to understand where they're at to then make your distress palatable to others. So why would we not just do this? But you want them to come to that conclusion. You don't want to force them to that conclusion. Things that I've read to go into there, pitch coaching is definitely something. Telling the story. The lean startup is a way to understand that. There's some training that you can go through if you find your local CPI office. They offer free training in pitch coaching or understanding lean and things like that. But yeah, that was definitely the biggest thing to start off with. understanding to tell the story and then bring people along with you. And what you said before about mind mapping and plateauing of data, that's huge. It's not an unvalidated opinion anymore. It has been validated through quantitative data that has now become qualitative because there's multiple people saying it. Those are big chunks of information that I wish somebody brought to me. Luckily, in my endeavors, I have an amazing person that I work with, and somebody brought us in and was like, "Hey, you guys are just getting lucky." Those two chunks have saved me so much, and I can't say that enough. You don't got to be the most right person in the room. You have to be the most willing to work together as the we collective.
Oh yeah. It's always good to know those data points you need to support your idea. Because it's
Mm-hmm.
one thing to just have an idea and go after it, but if you don't know how much it's going to cost, the time it's going to take to implement it, the impact of it, those type of things, it's not going to help your case. So I encourage you to kind of get with, honestly, your CPI folks are going to have a really good handle on what it takes to put a good foundation around your idea and make that pitch. So if you're new into this, get with your CPI folks and have them show you how to do that, because they're going to help you build your case.
The story. Tell the story.
Yes, they're going to help you tell the story. That's right. It's a great way to put it. So, come to the end of our time this week. And again, these are small, short segments, but we're here to help you. So, we want to hear from you. If you guys have ideas that you want us to cover, we've already got one come in, right? And we're working on that one, and we're putting something together, and we're going to get that out in the next few weeks. And maybe we need
What is that topic, Brad? What are we going to try and explore?
do we really want to tell it right now? Do
I
you
think we give them a leeway.
really? It could be something with maybe 3D printers, maybe.
I think 3D printings and kind of what our journey and what some other people's journey are, success,
right.
failures. Don't worry, we'll tell you how crappy we are at stuff.
Yeah, right. But we'll tell you what we've been successful too. So that look forward to that one coming in, right? Some 3D printing stuff, how you guys can do it, things like that. More to come on that. But we want to hear more from you of what you want to know. And we'll get that information out here to you. So look down in the comments as well. The Spark Cell site's in there. We're going to be putting more and more content on there as we grow, but we want to put content that's relevant to you. And we think this training content is going to be relevant, or these topics that you need to know. So we're going to put some links to stuff where you can find out more information down there. And there's already some links out there to some other things. And so we're going to try to get that organized. But if you've got some things you need on there, please let us know as well. There's ways to do that on the site, and we will get that out and get that to you guys.
Brad, I'd like to close this out this week. There's some things as we go forth. If you guys are looking for reading material, I'd like to add that. But this week is about how to better yourself. You have your network, using tools that are around you. I want to leave you with, you can always effectively change anything, but is that change truly effective? Tell the story, bring it to your people, do it a cup at a time.